Is it good? I think that thing might be off.
It's turning on.
We good now?
Try opening and see how does it look. Check the link.
Okay, are we good now? Perfect. Let's go. Let's get started. Is this can you see it? All good? Okay. So what we talked about last week was that there's a progression of the Paurhi. It's okay. I mean, if you don't get it, it's okay. I mean, it's not it's flickering?
Right. It's the refresh rate.
Maybe it's going to decrease then, right? Maybe 30 PS or 60. We can just turn it off, it's okay. It's all right. Let's get started. So, in Asaki Va, or any of the Va in Gurbani, there's really a progression.
Sorry. Maybe you have it online. You can just show online. No?
It's okay, don't worry about it. These are the first four audio, the first four steps of Asaki Va. And in any Va or any Bani, the steps are the progression, and for us to walk ourselves through our own life in this journey. Asaki Va starts really with everything where it would start, which is Apine aap sajyo, Apine rachyo, now, Dui kudrat sajya kare asan ditho jao. Right? Because what is the question? Who am I? Where did I come from? But that's not really the question. Because if I can answer who I am and where I come from, it's depending upon the context of who I think I am. But the question isn't really about who I am. The question is, where does it all come from? Because just about me, there's a worldly way to find out easy answers. And we all have it. Right? We have a father, we have a mother. There are obviously, as time goes on, there will be more sophisticated ways for life to come into being. That's not the answer. Because the question is not about who I am and where I come from. The question is, what is this? Where am I going? And what is the game? Like, we need to understand the game. जब तक हम गेम की समझ नहीं है, फिर खेलना नहीं आता. I was discussing earlier with someone, and we all have all this dukh in our life. And dukh is a very powerful word that most people who've done any search in life and looked at world traditions, it's a very powerful word. The Buddha, the focus was upon life is dukh. And it's true. The issue is, yes, there is dukh, but what is dukh? And if I don't want dukh, in the absence of dukh, what is there? So it's untangling all of that so I can know myself and to be able to see how I fit into everything and how I live a life that is fulfilled and fulfilling and a contribution to everything around me, because it's really not just about me. Because to be very selfish is to be very lonely, and it is to live in a lot of dukh. Even though you would think that if I don't have to deal with a lot of other people, I should be better off, but maybe not. Because after a while, you get sick of yourself. You know why? Because the same reason why we get tired when we go on vacation is because it's me. I'm the one who's on vacation. I'm the one trying to get away from something, and wherever I go, there I am. because I brought everything with me. So question that we are talking about here, obviously we talked about the context of Gurbani. Everything in Gurbani always starts with the same context, Ik Oankar Sat. Naam, Karta Purukh Nirpao Nirvair. These are the fundamental values. These are the fundamental definitions of oneness. And why that, you would think, right? Before every single Ra, before every single topic that changes in Gurbani, this is always there. In fact, this is how we know that the topic is now changing. Now, there's a different discussion. And who's discussing? Guru Nanak, through all the Nanaks who call themselves Nanak, because their name is not relevant, they call themselves a number. But for us, our identity is very important. Over here, it's meticulous in letting us know who and whose testimony is being offered. And that testimony is what we are testing in our life. Because at the end of the day, each of us thinks we're very smart. Each of us thinks we're smart, each of us have issues, and we can't resolve the issues. So the question is, at some point you gotta say, you know what, I gotta stop listening to this thing and start actually watching and testing and looking outwards. So this is telling us that there is a way to be. And for me, I will have to give something up. Balhari Guru Apne Dewhari Sadwa. We talked about this last time. We'll do a quick recap and move on. I need to lose my stubbornness, my sense of self that I know. Because everything I know brought me where I am. And if I'm still dealing with things that I'm unable to resolve, I am not the reason they're going to get solved. Something about me has to change. Something about who I am has to change. Something about how I think needs to change. And if I do, and when will I do this? We come to Gurduara, we go to places for a few hours. Is that going to solve my issue? Because I come here for an hour or two, I'm back to life. Right? 168 hours in a week, of that 2 were spent sitting. What did I get? 166 left. Every week, after week, after week. So this is about Deo Hari Sadvar. It's all the time. It's actually not an easy path. I wish it were easy. I know each of us are looking for an easy way. And if you are looking for an easy way, I promise you there's a lot of people sitting with an easy pill to give you. And some donations that they will want. Right? And they've got a business. So, question is, when I am dealing with this day and night, my commitment, my daily routine, my living, my rani, my being, is it transforming me from a person who's stuck within the man, the manas, to a devta, devate kiye, and also it doesn't take time. Like that. It's available. That's a test. Does my life transform or not? And that's the way. So we're not going to go through everything because we already did this. Question again is, all this knowledge, all this wisdom available in the world, why is it that I'm still living in the dark? Because there's a lot of knowledge, but that knowledge is not about me and about my being. And the same is being asked by every person in the world. It's not about me. I can learn about physics, I can learn about cosmology, but at the end of the day, how does that help this, what I'm carrying, and what I'm dealing with in life? Unless it addresses the major issues which are psychological, sometimes they're economic, they could be political. All of that goes together, by the way. You cannot separate spirituality from politics. You cannot separate that from economics, because all of it makes life. So life cannot be lived in boxes. Actually, the walls have to be broken down. For me to be whole, I literally have to be whole. Otherwise, I will live a fake life here. And then I go out and I do something else. Over here, it's about truth. Over there, it's about lies. Because, well, it's business. You know? Well, I'm a politician. I gotta promise things. But that's the problem. It's the fakery. It's the inauthenticity. It is that internally I am at war with myself. I say one thing and I do another. Why is it that our children call us out? Because we tell our children, these are the values. And then they see, well, you're not living those values. So you got to call it out. Can't blame the child. Child is seeing what they're seeing. So what we need to do is to resolve the internal contradictions. So all this knowledge, the knowledge is not going to help. Je saw chanta ugbah, suraj charan hazar. Itte chanan hundiya gur bin kohor andhara. Because I'm in the dark about my being. So last one was Nanak, Guru na chetni. Mani apne suchet. What is this? Apne man de vich. In my own mind, I am a genius. Even if I am living a life of pain constantly. I am cut off from people. I can't relate to people. I don't feel love. And I don't even feel loved. Neither am I giving or I'm able to take it in. A painful life. Guru Nichetya. And what is Guru? It is the enlightener. It is the way to be. Guru na chetni par man apne vich suchet. What is that person? A person who lives like this is a person who's cunning. They may be smart. Probably people who are very smart also have a lot of issues because they outthink themselves and they weave a web and they're tied up in the web. But the problem is you don't know how to get out of the web. You know how to get caught in the web because you're so smart. So this is not about being smart. Guru na chetni man de vich mani apne suchet. Chutte tel guard jo sunje andar khet. Now, what does this talk about? It's about that we look good. Phaliye, puliye. We look like we're fruitful. We have something, we've earned something. But at the end of the day, what I have inside of that, because a farmer will leave that, because a farmer can recognize what are the things that I need to cut, and they will actually be of use to people in the marketplace. And some things are better left in there to be burnt for the next seeding and whatever the crop will be. Because they look good, but on the inside is ashes. So it's a farming analogy. Take it for what it is. Point is, do I look good? Is all my effort in looking good? Or is it about living authentically? Am I full of ashes? Or is there something alive within me that can actually be a contribution to those around me and can uplift those around me? Last time we had started discussing this. What I'm going to quickly go over here, because this one is kind of important. Excuse me, I'll just... this is about understanding, because this is Gyana. We didn't spend much time. We talked about this at the end. I'd asked folks to look it up, the meanings of these. Joe khasam hai jaya. Poot baap khilaya. Bin shravana kheer pilaya. And I believe, if I remember correctly, or would you like to read the translations? Do you have that in front of you?
I'm looking, which one is it?
Yeah, it's okay. I'll tell you. It'll take a while. It says, Joe khasam hai jaya.
Yeah, I got it.
Khasam is a husband. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you say? I'll repeat it.
The wife gives birth to her husband. Oh, yeah, this
Yeah, the wife gives birth to her husband. That's one interpretation. I don't agree with that. But the other one would be that it is the wife and the khasam, which is the husband, brought it all into being. But let's go with that. What's next? Puti baap khilaya.
The son leads his father in play.
Over here, actually, I'll make a slight difference also, because there's difference in interpretations, is Poot nu baap ne khilaya. Baap is the father, leads the one in play, which is the put, which is the progeny, right? Bin shravana kheer pilaya.
Without breasts, the mother nurses her baby.
Okay, without breasts, the mother nurses her baby. And my challenge was that people love their kirtan. Go ahead and sing this. I'm sure somebody could sing it very well. My question to you is, what did you get out of it? Without breasts, the mother fed the baby, One interpretation says that the wife gave birth to the husband. Right? Meaning. And that's why this is not about mere singing. In fact, if you were to get what this is, you're good. Whether or not you can sing it is a different story. Because the person who wrote this is a master. It's Kabir Sahib. So the meaning of this is subtle and there are layers. And it's an exercise to go into it. I have a couple of these for this party. Today's the third session. I hope to get through all of it. So, Joe Khasam hai jaya. What do you think that means? Because obviously the translation doesn't help. Anybody?
The first
The
line.
wife enables the husband to bring the next generation. So it's wife only who gives the birth to that identity of husband and the further identity of bringing next generation.
But also, where did the wife come from? Right? The wife came from somewhere. And that is the first party. The first party is Api ne aap sajyo, Api ne rachyo now. Dui kudrat sajiya kar asan ditho chao. Tata karta aap tu, tus deva kare pasao, tu jano hi sab se de lesa jind kawao, kare asan ditho chao. This is the foundational step. There are 24 steps in this Bani. Yeah.
I was just wondering, you know how sometimes we talk about the bride, but we're all brides, you know, and here I talk about the wife and the husband. Does this relate in any way to the Guru?
This relates to the structure of everything. How everything started. Yeah.
Does it relate to the circle of life?
It relates to how life came to be.
Yeah.
And the problem that we started with, like all of us have the same problem. Our problems physically might be unique, psychologically may be unique, but all of us came from the same way and we are dealing with the similar type of problems. Doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is. So I'm going to go back because this actually has to do with the party. So I'm going to speak to the party. Sorry for all these frills that I threw in there for some reason. Must have been too free. Api ne aap sajyo, api ne rachyo now. Rachyo and sajyo are very important terms. Sajjana generally in Gurbani comes for the one fashioning something. The rachana is generally a man karat cheese. I'll give you another line from Gurbani, some of you may know. Jag rachana sab chhoot hai, jaan leo re meet. Jag is the world, universe. It could be your world, your universe. Is chhoot. Know this, my friend, that it's all a lie. It's fake. It's not real. That's rachana. Because rachana has to do with the man. For instance, the world that you are inhabiting is likely not the world that I'm inhabiting. Because my world is filtered through my man. So, the man that mere man ne jo rachya, the stuff that my man is ascribing, the definitions, the stories that the world sucks. Today it sucks. And something good happens, oh my God, it's amazing. You are amazing. In 1 second I'm up and the other second I'm down. Kab ho jeera ooh chadat hai. Kade janda payale. Right? In 1 second, it's just about how I feel. Like that's how easy it is. And we do this to children, don't we? If they're upset, oh, let me give you this thing. Right? But that's how we live our whole life. It's like 1 second up, the other second down. So this is about api ne aap sajyo, api ne rachyo now. This api ne is you yourself. Who is this you yourself?
God.
There is only one. This is about the one who is on their own, its own. Because there is not a he or a she. He or she is our construction. So the one, oh kalla, there is nothing. In fact, think about that. There is no time for the one. Because time is a construct of relativity. Time is distance, right? The time that we make time here with our sun and us going around the sun, 1 year, 1 day with the rotation of the earth, it's contextual just in this sphere. Jupiter has a different time. A different star might have a whole different time. It's not, and what about the one that is outside of all of that? Everything is within it, but it is also outside of that. It's the most loneliest existence there could ever be. That's the one's existence. There is nothing. Then फिर what did it do? Api ne aap sajiyo. Because it didn't even have a form. It has no form, there is no time, there is nothing. It creates itself, it manifests itself. It becomes Oankar. And that's the process of Sat that is continuing. But Api ne aap sajiyo, api ne rachiyo, now how does it experience? Because it is experiencing. The last line says, Kare asan ditto chao. It is residing within its own manifestation with great feeling of elation and curiosity. Chao, chao denal. And this is a very powerful word in our language, chao denal, because it comes from your feelings. It also comes from what? Your rachio, which is jag rachna jhoot hai. Jag rachna, if this is all fake, a lie, then where is it fake? Because to us it feels real, doesn't it? So it's fake because the only one to whom it's totally real that it's fake is the one who actually manifested it. This is actually a desire of the one. That's why it's here. There's no other answer. It's the desire. The one desired it. And that's why it's a clash of desires. Because what the one wanted is actually manifested. We are the ones through which it is actually experiencing all of it, through all senses, through everyone. But we are the ones who are suffering. Why are we suffering? That actually is built into here. Exactly why we are suffering? Because dui, kudrat saji hai. And what is this kudrat saji hai, dui? Because now there's relativity. There's two. I am I, caught between this biological body, my framework, and I am not you. My mother tells me, you are my son. I tell my daughter, you're my daughter. Actually, I tend not to do that a whole lot, but they have a whole story about that too. All of this difference, identity. Everyone is caught within their identity. And that's the flow of the construct of what is called Maya. What is Maya? Because what is Sach? Actually, that's the question. It's a relative question. Sach is about the one. That's the Sach. And that's the Sat, which is the Sach in process. Because now it's relative. Everything that Oankar is not beyond time. It's actually within time. Aad Sach, Jugad Sach, Happy Sach, Nanak, Hosi Pi Sach. It was in the beginning, since then it was, it is, and it will be. What does that tell you also? That it had a beginning. The one does not have a beginning. Oankar has a beginning. Ad is the beginning. That's bounded in time. But all our experience is within time and it's short. It feels long sometimes, especially when you're young. And when you're older, it starts to feel like it's too short. Unless you're having a really bad time. And then it feels like, oh, it was enough. So, Dui kudrat sajiya kare asam ditto chao, data karta aap tum. This pasao is its own, and datta is the one that has something to give. And there is only one. And Gurbani calls it datar. Datar is the one that gives. Dat is what we receive. And we call the one that gives datar datar. Right? So we got a lot for nothing. our life, whatever our health is. If it isn't good, we complain. But it was actually, all of it was given. Data karta aap tu, tusi devan kare pasao. You are the one that expanded and made it all possible. Tu jano ye sab se. For everyone and everything that we are feeling in our suffering and whatever, who is the one that's experiencing all of it? Not with the same level of attachment that we do. Because we are attached to the identity in the body. We feel it. It feels real. But that's the one that's in there and feels it all, and nothing can be hidden. Now let's get back to this. Joye khasam hai jaya. What is this wife here? Now you have the context. Who's the wife? If there's a husband and the wife, the answer was actually in what we just talked about.
God only.
Is the creator?
There is the one,
There's the creator.
and who's the one that in Gurbani?
Eh?
In that line, Joye khasam hai jaya.
The data?
No, Joye khasam hai jaya, that line. Khasam is the one. Then who is the joy? The mother.
That's also God.
It is, in the final analysis, but that won't solve our issue. For us to understand the game, the joy, it's Maya.
It's the duality actually.
Yeah. It's the duality, it's the Maya through which everything came into being. Joye khasam hai jaya. Everything came into play. Now, the other one, Poot, Baap khilaya. Poot is the child, and the Baap is the khasam brought into and is leading into play. So what is this Poot?
I think it's again the duality, because I think for three relationships they are trying to maintain, show that there actually is one, but
Yes.
they're such close relations that we try to see them differently, but they're actually on one.
So then who's the child? Yeah. That's the mother, right? That's the mother through which it all came into being. But what's the Poot?
Our desires. Our desires.
It's our man. Yes, the man has desires. It's our desires that come from the man. Qurbani is addressing the man. Because the man is the one that has to be awake. Simran Kaur had mentioned earlier, life is about awareness. Do we live with this awareness when we are in pain? Do we live with this awareness when we are feeling joy? That actually this is the game. It's the man that is being led in play. And what does the next one talk about? Actually, there's another line in here, Baap khilaya, which is that the man has actually been given the tools to play the game. The Baap, the Qasam, didn't just throw it into the world and just say, figure it out. It has the tools. And that's the good news for everybody. We have the tools. Poot nu Baap ne paya game which, but has given the tools to play the game. And we actually, the man, because who's the one that's stuck in this man? Because the answer was it's all one. It's it playing the game as this and as all of it. So the way out is in there. We need to figure that out and live not in the dualistic sense, but actually above that and beyond that. Then I can be free. So, dekho loga, kaliko paho.
Is it trying to find, kind of finding your way out of a weird cycle?
Cycle? And
in a
call it a
way.
puzzle, right?
Yeah.
A lot of Gurbani, what we're reading right here, this is called a bujharat in Gurbani. Bujharat is like a puzzle that you need to solve. And if you go back 100, 200 years, especially in the rural villages in South Asia, people would use bujharta all the time in their normal language. It was a fun way to communicate. And you need to think about that. How sharp would those people be if they're communicating in bujharat? For us, we have to find translations. We got to do this. What does it mean? Does this really mean that? And you ask somebody, they're like, well, this translation says this one says that. What am I supposed to believe? Your life is on the line. You better figure it out. Because if you don't, it's your life. Can't blame anybody else. If the tools weren't there, I didn't have the tools. Figure it out. Because your life is on the line. The quality of your life is constantly on the line. Dekho loga kaliko pao, sut mukulai apni mao. This is even worse, by the way. I didn't ask you to interpret this one. The child wants to marry the mother. And child is in love with the mother. This Oedipal complex. Remember, who was the child? The man. And who was the mother? It's Maya. Man loves Maya. We love what we see. I love my car. I love my house. I can't lose that. All of the things that I hold dear are valuable. They're tied with material objects, which are all temporary. That's the Maya. That has given birth to this man, which is connected to everything outward. And that's the structure of this game. That's what this is talking about. So I'm going to move forward. I'm not going to, there's actually one line. Let's just go through it. Dunya hoshiyar, bedar, jagte musiyat hore pai. This is Kabir Sahib. Says dunya, all of you, all of us are dunya. Hoshiyar, be awake. Be vigilant. Wake up. You are being robbed, blind. Musiyat hore pahi. And jagat musiyat. You think you're awake, but you're not. You're being robbed, blind. So when I say our life is on the line, it's real. Our life is on the line. So let's not sleepwalk through this game. So this first party, because that's all we're going to go over. Yeah.
Just recap. The child is the man.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Yeah.
The mother is Maya. Who is the husband?
There is only one, through which everything came.
Oh, so
That's referred to as is the
the
one.
Korean. Okay.
And that's why when it talks about all of us as girlfriends,
Yeah,
right? We're all girlfriends. There is only one husband.
yeah. One, the brides.
Right.
Yeah.
So actually that also has a lot of implications on people who claim they can speak on behalf of Gurbani, and they say that, well, two people who are gay can't marry. Gurbani says we're all girlfriends. There is only one husband. So what is this gender? I would love to hear from all these smart and cunning people how they figured that out. Because we're all girlfriends. Right? And they think we are marrying each other. Gurbani tells us that there is only one, and these bodies that are in front of you, there is doe murad, ik jod. What is a jod? One light. Two bodies, one light. Tan kar kahiye soe. Then this is a beautiful, valuable union. Otherwise, it's not a union. Yeah, it's just two bodies. It's not just the 8 billion bodies that we're talking about. We're talking about all the bodies. Although the animals are not as confused as we are. That's the life we're living. So this is about surrendering to wisdom and about this mask that we wear. And internally, we are burnt up. We are burning by desires, which is the Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ankar. We are burning because of duality. It's about my identity. It's about my not having enough as I see my neighbors having. It's the same thing, right? It's not to one community, it's everyone. It's a balance of this expansion and contraction. What is it? What is expansion? When I feel good, don't I feel like, oh, I just love everybody? That's expanding. And as soon as I'm in pain, immediately, right? How small does my world get? In fact, do you ever think about your teeth until they hurt? Right? No one ever thinks about it. But as soon as it hurts, that's all that you think about. It's like the tongue goes there over and over and over. Our world is like that, expansion and contraction, constantly. And that's also what this is talking about. Apine aap sadhyo manifested itself, to feel, to enjoy. Chao de na. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question on the previous slide with the
this whole context we're talking about. I still don't understand how Maya gave birth to Ik.
No, Maya did not give birth to Ik.
Khasam, didn't we say Khasam is the Ik?
Yeah, that was just an interpretation, a translation, which I actually was immediately saying that
That's not...
take it with a huge pill of salt.
Okay.
Because those are not very good translations. There are no good translations as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that the ones that I have, the interpretations I'm doing are on. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, do they elevate you? Do they help your understanding become big? Because then it can help you move forward in your life. Right? I have no claims. All I can tell you is how I live my life. I can show you. I shouldn't be telling you anyway, because my children watch how I live, not what I say. Right? So, Joy Khasam hai jaya. It's that the man came into being from the union of the Maya and the One. Because as it manifests itself, how does it feel it? By the way, my man, another line in Gurbani says, Man, tu jot swaroop hai, apna mool pechan. Recognize your source. And that's what we forget, is the source is the key. I need to go back to the source. But most of the time, when I'm happy, I give myself credit. When my life doesn't go out very well, then I have a whole list of people to blame. My parents, my community, my education system, my this or that. But the credit is always mine. Until I start to learn, and then I start looking, like, you know what? How did I get this? My parents gave me a lot. My community gave me a lot. I got this wisdom from my teachers. And then I start not looking here, and I start getting bigger and bigger. And this is the contraction and expansion. Does that make sense? And we're all living within this framework of cause and effect, which is in many ways like hukam. Hukam is a will in this manifestation, and we live according to cause and effect. Like, you cannot want something when you have worked for something else. In fact, that other one that I was showing you, that one talks about neem payo aam payo nimba, kela paka chahar, nalier phal sebar paka murkh mugd gawar. Sorry, I'm not able to see very well right now. There's a last line in there which is very important, and that's about what I was starting with. And the reason why I brought these in at the first paurhi, because it's important. It says, Hari payo khand, reet mein bikhreo, hasti churiyon na jaye. Hari, the one, greenery, vibrance, because that's what it connotes. This Hari is like sugar, but it's not just sugar. It's tossed and it's mixed up in sand. That's the visual, and this is Kabir said in Rag Ramkali. The sugar is mixed with sand, and your man, my man, is like an elephant, and it wants that sugar. Does it have a way to get to it? Because all it can do is like a vacuum cleaner. It will take everything. And when we are coming to these institutions, this place of reflection and learning, am I a vacuum cleaner? Am I an elephant trying to take in all bits of information that's coming in? And it means nothing, because the sugar is lost. It's mostly sand. And that's my mind when I'm sitting out here and I don't understand anything that's going on. And it says, Kehe Kabir. Kabir is Kabir. Kul jati paant taj. Your sense of self and your sense of importance that you've attributed to yourself, you have arrogated to yourself. Arrogation is to take something. And what is this that I've taken? Jati paant. Jat is my status. Based upon what? The worst thing yet is based upon the past. Upon my parents and their parents and their parents. That has nothing to do with me. I didn't earn anything. And if they did something wrong, I definitely didn't earn that either. Why am I arrogating the credit for things that I feel superior for based upon the job? Because I'll tell you what, the person who is the lowest in that scale, they want to get the hell out of that job. They don't want that anymore because they didn't have a choice. Kabir is saying, Kul, Jat, all of it, Jat, Paat, Taj. Throw it all, forsake it. Cheeti hoi chul khai. You have to be, you must be an ant, because an ant will find a way. An ant is discerning, and it's small enough to be able to distinguish between sand and sugar. And the sugar is the Hari. What a powerful, what an incredible metaphor and an analogy. And when we talk about ego, which is our problem, it's the identity, it's literally saying, Kyuti hoi chul khai. And I'm reminded of a saying that is attributed to Jesus, which on a different level, that the doorway to heaven.
Yeah, a camel can't go, but you can go from the hole of a needle.
Yes, right? That's attributed. I mean, of course, we're not quoting it correctly, but I also found that powerful.
Yeah.
There is another one that is also in Zen that I'm going to mention. Yeah.
What is that metaphor? With your ego, you can't go through the.
It's the camel. It's talking about someone who they have everything, but since they have everything, they don't know what is hell. Like in a weird way, not like hell, like a place, but like they don't know what kind of. How would you say that? You know pleasure, but you don't know like the difference between pleasure and just like what is kind of like the reality of it all, because you're so busy like with the sugar analogy. You're tasting so much sugar, you don't know the bitterness of it, because not everybody has everything of that nature.
And also, it's not about how much you have. Actually, sometimes when you don't have a whole lot is when you have the value of things, and then you realize that you have to shed a lot of what you have in order to be one. In fact, you have to give up everything in order to be one.
Yeah, so it's like the same way, like a camel can't go through a needle
Yes.
to the pass through the needle. Same way with your ego, you can't come to the gates of heaven.
You cannot. Yes, that was actually closer to what it was. Now that thank you.
Thank you.
It's a teamwork.
I was like, I don't know how to.
I was waiting because I thought maybe you've picked up and you could speak to it.
I was also thinking if you meant the other one about the way is narrow.
Yes.
I forget the exact thing, but then there's the easy way that just goes to nowhere, and then there's the harder narrow path.
The narrow path. Actually, that's the other one that I was going to allude to. In Gurbani, the saying is, "Joto prem khilan ka chao." No, not that one. I'm sorry. Khanyo tikhi walo niki et marg jana. Khanyo is a razor's edge. It's sharper than a razor's edge. What? The path, the way to be. Sharper than a razor's edge. Valo nikis is thinner than the width of a hair. That's the path. Et marg jana. And in Zen, they say it's like walking a razor's edge. One step in either direction, and there's heaven and hell. Also another powerful instruction.
I have a question on like what does cheeti mean here? It means humility, or does it mean like a more focused?
It means both.
Both.
Because the way that an elephant would feed itself is not as discerning. Let's not talk about the biology behind it, that it can handle a lot of that, right? But the point is that it takes large chunks. When we come here and we are taking large chunks, that means we're not getting anything. We're not discerning. And this is a jnana marg. This is a path of discernment. We need to be sharp. The sword that we carry outside, by the way, for a khalsa, the word khalsa, actually khalse, is only used once in Gurbani, and it was Kabir Sahib. And he says, Jan paye khalse prem bhakti jihi janni. So the ones who get bhakti and how to be in love, and to be in love is to be in love. It's not about loving this and not loving that. Being able to love, to be that open. They are the ones who are khalse. They are the ones who are pure. They are the ones who are detached from all this bondage that we have. It's not just our families that we are bound down to, are we? We have so many attachments that we can't let go of. We can't move, we can't grow because they're tying us back. So all of them have to break in order for us to be able to live and be loving. Does that make sense? Because so Chiti is about your ego, but it's also about being discerning, about being small. Because if everybody wants to be a Hathi, nobody wants to be a Chiti. Right? And if all of us are Hathi, there won't be much room to move around. Then we're going to get into it with each other, which is why we get into it with each other. So, there. So life is willed into existence, and it gives and it takes. I know people like to project a lot into cosmology, and I heard somebody who I really respect mention a very different metaphor for all of this, which made no sense. And saying that, well, God has kind of created this for a few people who are suffering, blah, 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 blah. You know what Gurbani says about that? Gurbani says, "Kai var kiyo pasara." We give a lot of importance to this. The reason they were mentioning it was the distance that we are from the sun. If we were farther or closer, life wouldn't have persisted. We wouldn't be here. That's actually a fact. The chances, some people calculated, Philosophical Scientist is a pretty interesting book, if anybody's interested. They say the chance that the probability that it happened by chance is so infinitesimal that it cannot be by chance. Right? That's their view. Probability says that it can't be by chance. What if this is not the only go around? We think this is the only go around. But Gurbani says, "Kai var kiyo pasara," that this has happened numerous times. Kai var is endless. It didn't give us a number. It says it's endless. It's a cycle. We are so attached with our life because we feel like this is the one opportunity. But to one that's playing a game, it's endless. So in that, there is this time, people who are reflecting upon it, maybe there's infinite number of times that it played this game with itself and experienced a lot of amazing things, and maybe it didn't amount to what this is amounting to. Maybe it was better or worse, or those are all terms that are relative. To it, it's not. It's enjoying it. This go around is 13 and a half plus or minus however many billion years. Imagine that. We just have a few years of life. So damn important. And it's been playing on this go around for 13 plus billion years.
How do we know that it's 13 billion?
Oh, well, the scientists traced it back for this.
Carbon dating, no?
Carbon and stars, we're able to figure out to a certain level of certitude. It doesn't really mean anything. I mean, I lived for 50, 70, 80 years, gone, and what's left? The go around, the one within me is experiencing life through here, and if I can live as one, and if I can see one, then this existence is incredible. That's the game. And it's playing with itself. So we have a lot of opinions about it. I don't think it has that many opinions about it, besides the ones that are through us. So let's kind of open it up. And what do you guys want to talk about? And this, I just put up a little mapping for folks who are interested. Go to the website. And this is some of the structure and terminology that Gurbani uses. But let's open it up. And what questions do you have?
For me, 99% it makes sense, but one of people Trump or somebody Epstein or somebody like that, that's where my head gets stuck on. How can those people be the manifestation of God? The extremes.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'll invite you to answer your own question. But rather than being rooted in your pain, I want you to step out of it and look at it from the one's perspective. How would an Epstein or there's a lot of them actually, the list is very long, right? Also of the good people. So how are they living and being the way that they're being? Yeah.
I've come to the realization, so God is within all. The light is within all. But what makes it that we forget about our light, that we don't connect to the divine light? It's actually in our DNA, in the nucleus of our being, that we are divine light, we are the divine. So, and I'm not going to go to the extreme, but you look at people who do even simple things that make no sense, that will treat you badly, that will whatever, you can name it. They will do things that you go like, why are you doing this? And the way I look at it is in a sense there's an imbalance. And so we have come out of balance. So the idea is, okay, well, how do we get back to balance? But those people that you're talking about are so out of balance that they're lost. They're totally lost in their maya and their imbalance. And so with that, it's like, when I look at people, I somewhat bless them, but it's like, I can't get angry at them, I can't, because I realize, you know what, they don't realize they're in the dark, and they're out of balance. So, I just have that realization, so I can't take things personally, I can't look at it, in a way, all we can do is just pray that the consciousness of this entire world raises, because the more we all raise our consciousness, the more, in a sense, we have an impact on the world. But it's really about, you're not aligned to Sat Nam, you're not connected. So these poor people, really, they're lost, and
Yeah, so actually one
I
second.
think it's a simple thing about Maya and Man. I think if you're not able to filter your Maya and Man from one, I think you probably start getting into the other side of the personality, and that's what the example you gave about the cheetah becomes very important, an elephant. That you want to suck everything that's not going to be, and then you probably start deteriorating and shift on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And as soon as you can control and become cheetah and start getting only what you want, start going to the other side.
Yeah, or what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Wendy? What are you getting?
I think conceptually, in general, like how you explained it, that makes sense. But from our first conversation of what is Ik and what is Oankar, I think I'm having a hard time reconciling that the most beautiful thing that created all of us, and some of the manifestations are, I don't know, I feel shameful of some of the manifestations. And so that's where, 99% that's not the case, thank God. That's not the world we live in, and thank God for that. So that 1% of going back to the concept that Ik manifested itself, and then those extreme manifestations, I'm not at a place today to be able to reconcile it, but I hope that at some point I will.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you see this kind?
Yeah, so two things come to mind. One is this marker, even though everyone has light inside it, the man is given the special, call it status or power or the opportunity to either go above or go below. So the biggest benefit we have is we have freedom. This freedom of whatever we want to do. One, we can concentrate on the one, get closer, or we can be attracted to Maya. The 5 thieves that we talk about, those in combination with Maya, they engross you and they can make you do things that you can either be a devta or you can go and be, people who you should be, would be like, what's going on? How is this possible? So that's one thing. And the other thing that comes to mind is just like parents, or just like parents want to hide the bad things about their children, they only want to show the good things, they want to talk about the positives. Same is with us. The one, they have given us so many layers. If we didn't have the layers, if I could hear the thoughts of every other person, if we start hearing those, we will get to know that so many people think so badly. Because if you look at the entire life, so many thoughts cross your mind. So we are protected in that way, that those things are not visible. We have skin, so there are layers that protect us from showing this things that we cannot perceive or understand from you. So both those things.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Actually, once you have to
So what I think is, every human being is controlled by the superpower. So as in Gurbani it says, कहो नानक करते कियां बातां जो कुछ करना सो कर रहे कि whatever is happening with any individual or collectively the group or whosoever, whatever is happening here, good, bad, neutral, whatsoever, is governed by the authority, the superpower, or whatever you may call it. So I think that one should be closely aligned to the faith, whatever faith he or she has got, and ultimately it is the superpower who has to rekindle the effect in you to get the light from. You see, there is a story of, there was a Bhagat Kanna. He prayed to the rock, a single rock. Somebody asked, what are you doing? He said, "Hey, Rabbi." So he ignited the light from the rock. So I think so, whatsoever is happening with that person, that God's will. And I don't think so we have, as he said, we don't have freedom. I think so. So whatsoever is happening for the good.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, something that they were saying is, this is my belief. I believe the Creator, Ekankar, gave us free will. When we have free will, we can either choose to connect with Ekwith, the will of the one, or the will of the man, right? And the Maya.
That's where the freedom is, right?
Yes, exactly. So it's really, it's that free, it's it's what we choose in life. We spoke about choice like 2 sessions ago, but it's like what we choose. So God gave us free will to figure out, and some have to figure out the hard way, which are we going to connect to? The Ekwil and attune to that and receive that guidance, or receive the guidance of Maya.
So
Really,
again,
one second, we need to back up. Let's make sure that everybody gets a chance.
So I just wanted to say that I do believe we have
ਇਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੈ, ਹੁਕਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ will, ਗੁਰੂ's will ਹੈਗੀ. It doesn't apply on everything. Like, if I'm going to rob someone, that's not Guru's hukam or Guru's will. One doesn't want us to rob someone या फिर कोई गलत काम करना. That was our choice. What we are becoming. If someone is becoming robber or someone is becoming a bad person, it's his or her choice, not hukam in that way. I guess everyone's journey, that individual journey is going on to reach the destination, the aim of life, which is to connect with one. Everyone is on a different stage right now. I am not anyone to say, okay, Trump is bad or good or what. It's his stage of life where he is someone who knows the entire meaning of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, all the Banis. They are so much ahead of us, and that person might be saying the same thing about us, that they don't know anything, right? So it's just that how much we are influenced by all our 5 enemies, how much we are connected with Maya, how much we are getting influenced. I feel like that defines what stage we are on, and how much we have to learn, I guess. I just want to say real quick that helped me a lot. Like, what I got from it is I was asking the wrong question. I should not be asking whether the names that I named are they manifestation of God or not. I should be asking questions what's in my control and what do I have to do in alignment. So thank you. I
think that's a good takeaway partially, but I also want to address several other things because a lot of things came on the table. There is what I think and I believe. That's different from understanding the structure of reality. We started with understanding the game. I believe and I think is part of the problem. Let's all acknowledge that at least. Because everything that I believed before I came to what is the universal wisdom is what I think and I believe. And by the way, every person that we ascribe evil intentions and maybe evil incarnate, do they have a self-image that you have ascribed to them? Because if the image that you have of them, Hitler wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah, probably not.
Right? They don't have that self-image.
They probably think
because they are also operating from I believe and I think. I'm going to throw a couple of very provocative things on the table because these are logical and reasonable conclusions of the reality of one. The one is manifested through Hitler and all the worst people that we can ever think of, just as much as for the best or we ascribe ourselves with. It's the one. There is no devil. There is no good and evil. This is not thus spake Zarathustra. Those are based in duality. This is not duality. Reality is not duality. What we see is duality. Let me wrap up. It's not a Manichaean approach. We see things because we live under the influence of Maya. My eyesight is not that bad actually, but let me pretend it's really bad, right? It's really bad. I view the world and I have interpretations of the world and I believe this because this is literally what I see. Until the day that I get checked and I find out that, you know what? It's something different. Now I have these glasses and I have great faith in what I see. Tomorrow I get mud and I have nowhere to clean it. There's no water. Now I am viewing the world through glasses that are really get my vision back to 2020. Not better than 2020, but 2020. But I can't see. Now what I see is distorted. But I live my life based upon what I see. And what I have heard and what I believe and what I think. So let's not put too much stock into that. This is literally about getting to the source and starting there. Isn't that an amazing place to start rather than starting here? Because my whole life has been here. So, Hitler and others, I'll give you a very provocative way to think it through. Were they not attempting to get to one? What was Hitler's final solution?
Consolidate.
No, he was not consolidating, he was wiping out. He was removing something until what is left? Until one is left.
Yeah.
Right? He wanted a certain type of people to be left. He wanted everything else to be removed. He didn't care if they were wiped out, if they were tortured. Just one would be left. I'm not saying this is the truth. I just want you to try on that in one way or another, all of us are attempting to get to one. In your home, either you are the dictator or you are being dictated to. What is a dictator trying to do?
Implement or push their way onto others.
Yes, this is my family. You are my child. And then we say we all have free will. But the free will is not for the child. The free will is not for the wife. The free will is not for the other party. It's your free will. So what was illegal 2 years ago, even worse than that could be law now. Because now you're in charge. And you are also trying to get one. One what? One of your good people with the guns, so that others can be removed. It's the same. Everyone is trying to get to one. It could be getting to one as one. And when we think of the one, you said, beautiful. You're ascribing beauty to the one. The one has no comparison. So all qualities that we ascribe to the one, they're just made up by us. Because we think in terms of good and bad. But that's beyond all relativity. The one, think of it like an experiment. I mean, there's been some pretty interesting shows on TV, like Black Mirror, or some, I don't know which one it was, it's really good, about a game that they play. There's a whole world that is being lived by these characters. And then this person is taking care of them. And they're looking up to it and praying to it. And then someone else comes in and just destroys their world. We're looking at it from our perspective, who's playing the game. But think about it from their perspective, who are in the game. Because we are in the game. And unless we understand the game, what we're also doing is looking up to the creator who wrote the program. And there are good reasons to think like this is also a holographic universe. There's evidence scientifically for that. There are a lot of patterns that we are in. But we are living in the game, in the matrix. Gotta understand the game. So oneness has beautiful aspects to it, but even the worst parts also relate to a sick version of one.
Sick version.
Yeah, like a diseased version of one. Do you want me to slay a few more cows? This is the third session. I don't want to be dropping too many bombs. But a lot of people that we respect are actually quite despicable people. We don't know about them. Because a lot of people are hiding information, right? But oneness is a powerful thing because it can change my being. I want to counter a couple of things that were mentioned. You mentioned praying. I'm not sure what praying is. Because most praying that I've come across has been people hoping and sitting and chanting or doing something. That's not going to stop the people who are being oppressed, the people who are going to be wiped out. The Sikh way is not about sitting and hoping. The Sikh way is to be aligned. Even when Sikhs lived 4 generations, the Khalsa lived 4 generations on horseback in the jungles. They were closest to the Bani. And guess what they came out for? and they protected and they gave up their lives to protect people. And you would say, well, they weren't even Sikhs. Why would you go protect them? Because that was their life. They got something about oneness. It's not about, I don't know what praying is, unless praying is living in action. Because it can't be about me sitting and hoping. Because that doesn't get anybody anything. I'm sorry to say, the Dalai Lama is living in Dharamshala. It's been 70 years, right? Praying is not going to get you anything. China has taken over Tibet. People there have been massacred. We have to deal with reality. So I think our definition of prayer needs to be different, and that I might agree with. But otherwise, no. And one other thing I quickly want to point out is the story about Tanna. It's misinterpretation. That's not what it's saying. About praying to a rock, that's not what it's saying. That's a story that's made up outside of Gurbani. Gurbani does not agree with that. We can do that another day, maybe. We can take over the shab that says that. Yeah, absolutely.
You may be well informed.
No, it's not about anybody being wrong or not. It's just a matter of us differentiating and discerning such. Because we're going to live through such. We're not just going to live through beliefs and traditions and the stories that we've been told, because all of us have come with that baggage. We've got to let go of that baggage in order to be free and in order to live a life that is light. And why do you need light? So you can fly. Right? You can fly. Each of us can lift and be lifted by the power of the structure, the hukam. If I can get into alignment with the hukam, and mainu hukam pa jaye. Pana, that's what pana is. It is for me to accept it internally. I'm not fighting it. Oh, mainu pa gaya hai. Now I'm with it. And if I'm with it, as they say, I got wings and I can fly. Yeah.
So I agree on many levels with what you're saying about prayer and action is great, but not everybody is ready for that action.
Yes.
And there's been proof that when you have a certain amount of people praying something, it's actually made a difference to some degree. Not maybe like the full degree, but it's made some degree. So prayer is powerful.
You said there's evidence.
There's evidence.
Evidence generally comes with facts. So what are your facts to support
Oh,
that?
I don't remember. I so many times there's always these groups and how they a situation that could have escalated didn't escalate, let's say. So it's to some degrees the power of the prayer, chant, whatever they did. I don't know, how they did it, but it had an impact.
You know what? I'll give you some examples. Evidence. 800 or 900, I think when South Asia had a lot of people attacking, right? Most of them came through Punjab. That's why Punjabis have taken a lot of beatings and it made us strong. Because they could not travel over the Himalayas. Do you know how much it took to take over vast swaths of South Asia, what we now call India, or Pakistan and the neighboring territories? What did it take? If you understand history, it didn't take a lot. You know who the Mongols, and they came over? They didn't bring massive armies. They were on a horseback. There were a few horses. They came in. They looked absolutely terrifying because they had long hair, they had beard, and these massive horses came running up. And you know what they found over there? By the way, this is around the time when the yogis were at their highest power. That was the biggest, quote-unquote, religion of the time. You think there wasn't prayer going around? These people were like literally sitting for hundreds of years. Aligned. Did it make a damn difference? It was 1,000 years of slavery. Evidence, not belief. Evidence. What did it take? It took Nanak to start a movement. And that took time. Because Nanak alone couldn't get up and just take out a sword. He spent time in prison. That was his being active. And he asked for people's heads on the palm of their hands. And people started giving their heads. And within a few generations, you got people who were literally beaten down generation after generation after generation, and they overthrew an empire. Evidence. That's action. It's not, which is why I'm saying I don't know what prayer is. Unless there's action and activity involved, I don't know what it is. Because people sitting around praying for something, that ain't gonna change anything in reality unless they act. Someone has to act.
Okay, I'll
I'll
take
add
another
something.
example, which may be a little outside of our, I don't know. Okay, so prayer.
How do you define prayer?
Ardas.
That would be hopeful to
Ardas.
clear out.
Is you are just a vessel for the Creator. I'm not doing anything, really. Okay, so in healing, in a sense, I'm praying, but really what I'm saying is, okay, God, Creator, you do this. And that's a form of prayer, and that's very active. And there's a result. And I've seen it and I've experienced
Okay,
it.
okay. I can appreciate the impact that it can have on one's life, and I want to give you an opportunity, please.
So if we don't go back too much in history, even if we don't know the history, we have all seen COVID. In the COVID, we were doing prayers inside our house. We were ringing the bells and diyas and everything. But I think it was Sikh community who came out, took the courage, helped the needy people, took the sick people, did the cremation. We all know that. That helped to fight with that COVID.
They also had an oxygen langar,
Oxygen langar.
which was, it was a real courageous, beautiful thing. And we've seen a lot of that. And it's not just one community. Of course, there's a lot of people who step in and have done amazing things. But at the end of the day, our beliefs have to match our internal, and it has to manifest in the world. Just like the one manifested in us, it has to manifest itself. Otherwise, it's a lot of what is delusion and what is reality. At the end of the day, we have to have it be real in the world. And if I'm depressed, I have something to deal with. I have my life, my circumstances. Maybe I need to be removed from a situation. Maybe not permanently, but it will require some level of commitment and action, which is my life. And then I could be a contribution to someone. Otherwise, I will suffer, and I'm not a contribution to anyone. And I can't even be a contribution to myself, which is a very powerless state to be. Submission is an amazing state. That's very different. Submission, by the way, Islam also means submission. Powerful, powerful concept. But giving up to people and to oppression is not the same as submission that we're talking about. And that's a beautiful thing. You're connecting with the greater power and allowing that to come into play and be a vessel to work through. But it can't be like an inactive vessel, right? It has to act. You have to be able to step forth, which is what I was saying. 4 generations of the Khalsa lived in the jungles, did not have anything that we would want, because we love our comforts. They did not have any comforts, but people were better for it.
In my head, prayer and action are not mutually exclusive though. Like a lot of the time, prayer, when I think prayer, I'm thinking ardas in that terms. And a lot of the times when I'm doing ardas, I'm saying, God, give me the strength to do all these right things. And the Sakhis that I have listened to, all those Sikhs that lived in jungles, their heads were hunted. I'm
Yes.
sure when they went on these expeditions and saved people, they did ardas first.
Yes.
And then, all the Sakhis we've heard about, Chamkaur, Dingadi, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, I'm sure they did ardas first before they stepped on.
Yeah, absolutely. And ardas, the meaning of the word, ardas is das, the arz. We're all servants. All of us serve something. Most of us don't take the time to look back as to what it is that we're serving. Right? Sometimes if we think about it, we'll actually be quite disturbed by what we are serving. Just in the structure of the world we're living, we pay taxes, we do all these things, those are used for some reasons, and they spread pain around the world. Being number one doesn't come free. Number one is always with a cost. So we are responsible. We can't say that we're not responsible, somebody else made those decisions. So das the arz hai. Das the arz is not simply hoping for something. Una di ardasa sodhya si. That's what it's called. Ardasa sodhana.
Means what?
It's a commitment. You will not back off of that commitment. You, das, are making an arz.
It's an active prayer.
It's an active, like I'm, by your kirpa, I am no one. I am committing myself to this based on your guidance. And then it's called sir te kafan ban ke jana, right? And then they go. It's not sitting and hoping, give me the strength someday. Let me hope. If you are called, then you have the strength. Because you were given everything. We just went over that. You were given it all. The Poot was given that by the Bab. So what are we hoping for? If you got the idea, where do you think the idea came from? You got it. You felt the pain? You got it. You were called. Now are you getting up? Das di arz hogi hai or das hai. So they are on the way. And if we're waiting, then we're waiting. And that's the distinction that I wanted to make, is that this is not about thought processes and us getting caught up in our own thoughts, because that is an inactive game. It's a passive game. It's about life. Your life is on the line. My life is on the line. Am I going to live or am I going to think about it? Think is soch. And soch is part of the problem. So we should probably end it here. We went a few minutes over, but I really appreciate your active participation today. It's a lot of fun with the questions. And if anybody would like to join our Signal group, join in and bring in any questions that you would like. You know, it's really an open forum. So I hope that you will be active and continue to come in, because that's really what makes it lively and real.
We are benefiting as well.
No, absolutely. Thank you, appreciate it.
Make an announcement that we are having the Kirtan and Gurbani Vichar.
Oh yeah, so on the 28th, I'm not clear on exactly where it is, and Veerji can tell you where it's at. We're going to have Kirtan and Vichar session, I believe it's a Saturday during the day.
Morning.
Morning.
Yeah, 10:30-ish, I think 10:45 is when it starts.
So, if you could give me your phone number, I can send you the flyer on your text. I can text you.
Sure, I think you can.
Or just send me the flyer and I'll post it to the group. So
Yeah.